welcome to Live in the Solution. I'm your astrologer and tarot card reader, Mary Trimble, here with your readings for December the 9th through the 15th. What an incredible celestial sky we have this week. A lot is going on, but that's for the astrological report. So if you're new, welcome. I really hope you enjoy these readings and that you will return. And if you are returning, thank you so much for your loyalty, support, and love. Now, these readings are for the collective, guys. So take what resonates and leave the rest. And if you would like a more tailored, in-depth personal reading, then click on this link here and that will take you to my website and you can take a look at the kind of readings that I offer. Now, these readings are for your sun, moon, and rising. So if you know your sun, moon, and rising, then check out the other readings. All the links will be in the description box below. It'll say show more. You click on that, or if it's on a telephone, it'll have a little arrow pointing down, and that will open up the links to everything. I have a Facebook group, guys, and every 2 weeks I do a live feed in that group, which correlates with the new moon or the full moon. It is a private group, so you just have to click on the link below and request to join, and you'll just have a couple of questions that you have to ask. That's it. So yeah, well, whoever shows up for the live feed, then I look at the horoscopes and their sign and see how you are receiving the energy from the new or the full moon, respectively. So I'll be doing one this week coming up for this full moon in Gemini. So we have lots of fun there. It's really cool. Now, another way to support this channel, other than likes and shares and comments, which I really appreciate, guys, check out my Patreon page right here. I post things on there that I don't post anywhere else, or sometimes I preview them there before I make them public. So you can support me for as little as $1 a month, which is what, $12 a year, which is not a lot, but it's a lot for me. I can do a lot with that. And if you can't, that's fine. Just like, share, comment, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Lastly, these readings come in 3 sections. There's this section, which is the intro. Then there is the astrology report. And then after that is the tarot reading. I have the skip stamp times for each section below, right above, directly above all the links to the other videos. Sometimes that will be there straight away, but sometimes it takes me a minute to get all the links up. So bear with me. I have to upload all the videos first, and then I can put in all the links. So guys, without further ado, let's go to the astrology report, shall we? Hello and welcome to the astrology report section of your reading for December the 9th through the 15th. So gosh, there's so much going on. We start off with Monday, the 9th of December. Mercury moves into Sagittarius. It's going to feel like a breath of fresh air because Mercury has been in Scorpio since October the 3rd. You know, it's been there for over 2 months because of the retrograde. You know, it was just about to come out and then it went retrograde. So it has been a very long journey. And it's in Scorpio, we had to confront uncomfortable truths about ourselves, you know, and some of us are still shaken up by that, by those revelations. We will go from these deep, intense and detailed oriented thoughts and conversations to the bigger picture, a little bit more scattered and perhaps saying things without much foresight. So we can kind of, you know, there's very little filter between thought and mouth. It's just it just comes out. Mercury moving into Sagittarius is going to lighten the mood. We'll feel lighter, we'll feel more optimistic and more joyous. When Mercury is in Sagittarius, our thinking shifts from this need to dig deep into any given situation or topic to the desire to learn about everything. It's like we want to know everything. We want to learn. So we see this, we want to learn about it. We see that, we want to learn about it. We're like excited about deepening our education or knowledge. So our thinking becomes more optimistic, our faith becomes stronger and increases, and we are more idealistic. We're more concerned with what is fair and what is not. But under this influence, with Mercury in Sagittarius, we may not always make the right choices. Now, Mercury and Sagittarius don't exactly get along. Mercury represents our thought process and intellect, communication, whereas Sagittarius can jump to conclusions, seldom listens, and can be a bit impulsive. This transit can be challenging when it comes to communicating with others. We may be more optimistic and joyful, but we also have a tendency to make decisions based on assumptions, which can cause catastrophic errors in judgment. So be aware of this tendency and slow down. Resist the urge to make decisions before talking it over with trusted friends or family members. Remember, don't assume anything until you have all the facts. Resist the urge to jump to conclusions. Now, Wednesday, December the 11th, Venus conjuncts Saturn in the early hours of the morning. This aspect is challenging for love and finance. Your relationships could go through a lack of connection or lack of emotion. A stable relationship can weather this storm, but if your relationship is on rocky ground or unstable legs, it may not survive. If you meet under this influence, there could be a significant age difference and probably will be based on practical considerations rather than a partnership rather than a love match. This transit can also affect your finances and you could find yourself strapped for cash. So planning ahead might be prudent at this time so that you won't be in this predicament again in the future. Now, Thursday, December the 12th, we have the full moon in Gemini at 12:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's talk about the significance of the number 1212, 1212. This is the 12th month, and on the 12th day, we have the full moon at 12:12. How crazy is that? Well, this is a very significant number in numerology. It represents the highest vibration. It's a connection to the higher self or the light body, spirit guides, and it's the ascended master's frequency. So if you keep seeing this number, like I have been seeing this number a lot over the last few months, particularly, it's more and more frequent for me. You are connecting to that light, or you're being urged to connect to it. It's the new earth awakening vibration. It's that frequency. It's very high. So this is an incredible opportunity. It's almost like a portal has opened up for this because so this is about change. So not only do we have this full moon, and as most of you know, the full moon is when the sun and the moon are opposite each other. It's actually the sun's light that illuminates the moon. It's the sun feeding the moon, if you like. So the moon is in Gemini and the sun is in Sagittarius. And full moons are about culminations and endings, crescendo coming to, it's change, right? It's endings and beginnings. Gemini is about the intellect. It's about the thought process, the spoken and the written word. It's about books and about learning, right? While Sagittarius is about spirituality, adventure, and higher learning. It's kind of a higher octave of learning. And it's about optimism. Now, at the same time as this full moon, there is a T-square, what we call in astrology a T-square. And that T-square is to Neptune. So that means that Neptune is square to both the sun and the moon. This is a challenging aspect, right? Squares are tension, and they're kind of motivating, if you will. Now, the lowest octave of this energy is the monkey brain, right? That's what will be highlighted, what we call in meditation the monkey brain. It is that unconscious chatter in the background that's constantly going, that's there all the time, and perhaps sometimes we're not conscious half the time. Some of us aren't conscious of it at all, but some of us are awakening and hearing that voice in the back of our heads that is saying, you're not good enough, you'll never do it, you're too old, you're too young, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too ugly, too dumb, you'll never make it. Oh, look, see, there you go. You've done it again. It's that kind of energy. And it's that. So the antidote to that is meditation. Meditation quietens the monkey brain. So listen, we may be too idealistic or perhaps even deceptive. That's the lower octave of it. We may be overly sensitive and we may take things personally. This full moon will shed a light on the truth and will bring something from the unconscious into the conscious. Maybe make us aware of what we're thinking and how we feel about ourselves, or how we're allowing this monkey brain to dictate how we feel about ourselves, right? Now, meditation, I always say this, if you've watched me before, meditation isn't about controlling your mind, but it's about not allowing your mind to control you, not dictating our actions according to our monkey brain. The higher octave of this energy is that we connect to higher energies, to that light, that 1-2-1-2 frequency, right? Because the veil between the worlds with Neptune at play becomes very thin. So we are able to communicate with spirit in the ethereal realm. It will empathize with the suffering and the plight of the less fortunate around the world. And it's imperative that we conduct ourselves with honesty, kindness, and integrity, and that we keep a positive mindset. It's like visualize the manifestation of your dreams and wishes, practice that. The energy surrounding us right now is really fast and furious. All the planets are traveling direct and they're picking up speed. So they are going full force. It's like we're on the express train to 2020. So we are manifesting our beliefs at an incredible speed. So it's really important to make sure that you are in the I can and will mindset as opposed to I can't or won't attitude. Now, I haven't finished, guys. There's more. On Friday, December the 13th, Mars trines Neptune. Now, with Mars trining Neptune, your sensitivity and creativity is stimulated. It creates a magnetic, attractive, and sensual charm. which is ideal for romance, you know, inspires a spiritual connection with romantic partners, whether you're in one or you're meeting one. It feels so right. This aspect can also spur an urge to stand up for the underdog or a human rights cause. Anything that you feel is unjust, it's like you will be moved by that. Although this isn't an aggressive energy, it will give you the courage to fight for the rights of people, animals, or the environment based on moral and ethical values. It's very idealistic, but very action oriented. So you want to get up, you want to stand up, you want to do something tangible for what's going on in the world. Well, we're seeing it around the world. People are getting more and more involved in protests. Look what's going on in Hong Kong. Anyway, so also on that day, Venus is conjunct Pluto a couple of hours later, right? What is it? 4 hours later or 3 hours later. So you're going to feel this is kind of energy that's around now. This brings a need. It brings in the need for a deeper and more meaningful connection with your partner, or indeed, if you're single, the longing to fall in love. The desire is so strong that you may manipulate others, even engage in atrocious behavior like stalking or spying on your lover or partner, going through their emails or their phone or their bags or their coat pockets and things like that, and surreptitiously. It's not good. Spying on people, tracking their phones and their computers and things like that. It's really not okay to spy on anyone. It's not. It will actually create the opposite of what you desire. It will push someone away because everyone inevitably gets caught doing that kind of stuff eventually. So it's important to resist the urge to control and allow things to play out, even if the result is not what not to your liking, because karma is attached to this energy, and we must play it with honesty and integrity. We must, come from a higher perspective or a higher energy. If you meet someone during this transit, you could jump in over your head and become infatuated or even obsessed, which can spur the behavior I've just highlighted, So take it slow. Keep your friends in the loop and confess the temptation to manipulate or do anything that's kind of nefarious or underhanded or sneaky, so that they can talk you out of it. Now we move on to December the 15th, Jupiter trine Uranus in the afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a wonderful energy, guys. Fabulous surprises and wonderful opportunities could pop up out of the blue. Small miracles kind of thing, that kind of thing. It's like, oh, wow. Serendipity encounters with influential people can happen. It's a time to take risks, actually, and push the boundaries, of how far you can go in a good way. It's a lucky day. Actually, it lasts for more than a few days, but it's the most intense on Sunday because that's when the aspect is exact. So what a lovely day to end the week on. So without further ado, let's go to your tarot card reading, shall we? Hello, Aries, and welcome to your reading for December the 9th through the 15th. What a week we've got. This is for Aries. Aries, what wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information can you give Aries for this coming week? Three cards for Aries, please. 3 cards for Aries. There's two, I think. Yes, two. Okay. And one more card for Aries, please. One more. That's it. Oh, very interesting. These are clarifying cards for Aries. Clarifying cards for Aries. This is for Aries for December the 9th through December the 15th. What wonderful gifts, guidance, blessings, and helpful information can you give Aries for this coming week? Please clarify. There it is. Please clarify. Oh dear, that went flying. Okay, lovely. And please clarify. There it is. Oh, very interesting. Okay, Aries, let's take a look at your card, shall we? Okay, so the first card out for you is the Two of Swords, clarified by the Hermit. Then you have the Nine of Swords, clarified by the Six of Pentacles, the Hanging Man, and the Judgment card. Ooh la la! Que sera, sera! Okay, so the first card out for you is the Two of Swords. So there's a decision on the table. By not making this decision, by not addressing it, you are you're blocking yourself. This is, you see, look, she's standing there like that. It's a total block, and there's choppy waters, and there are boulders in this is all about being blocked, and all because you're not making a decision, or you're refusing to see the truth in the situation. The full moon will probably light something up, and look at it. Take the blindfold off and look at this. So this is about not looking at the situation, not handling something, not making a decision. And by not making a decision, you're blocking your way forward. It's take the blindfold off, darling. Take a look at this and just move. Just take some action. Make the decision, Now, look, clarifying this is the Hermit. So perhaps you're afraid to make that choice. And the Hermit, look, this is the Hermit is holding up the lantern, right? He's the light at the end of the tunnel. There's hope here. A lot of people are going through a lot of difficult times right now, and it has been very difficult for some. And so it's even more important to meditate, to quieten the monkey brain, right? And the monkey brain will be heightened and highlighted this week. So we really need to kind of rein that in a bit, quieten it down. He's holding up the lamp, and the lamp represents his mind. So he is no longer ruled by his monkey brain. He's not listening to those negative things that the monkey brain says. You're not good enough. You're too old. You'll never make it. You're not going to be able to do it. Whatever the voices in your head, he has mastered it. And in terms of mastering it, he has separated himself. And I always think of the Rumi quote when I think of the Hermit. I am not this hair, I am not this skin, I am the soul that lives within. So definitely, that's what I would definitely meditate. It's so funny because I just got, I was thinking of Mars, trine Uranus towards the end of the week. And that is all about, it's kind of God's mind, as they say. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So Mercury is the messenger to God. And so this is even higher, right? So anyway, I just thought about that. So it's about connecting with the higher mind, with your higher self. It's definitely attaining or reaching that high vibration. Do everything you can to do that. And actually, the best way to do it is to meditate. It really is the best way to raise your vibration. And look, here we have the 9 of Swords. So this is about thinking about the worst case scenario, which this new moon can bring on if you're not in a positive mindset. It's going to be very difficult, and so if you're aware of it, don't look. I always quote Gone with the Wind when this card comes up. It's like, this is worry and thinking about the worst case scenario. What if? Let me turn my phone off. What if this happens, and what if that happens? What if I'm homeless? What if I'll never be able to pay a bill again? I'll never make it. It's that. And it can keep you up all night. And I always think of Gone with the Wind and Scarlett O'Hara when she says, I'll worry about that tomorrow. Worrying does not help a situation. If you can't pay a bill, what's the point in worrying about it? If you're thinking about how you can make money to pay that bill, that's a different energy. But if you're just thinking, oh my God, I can't pay it, that's it, what am I going to do? And not be focusing on the actions that you can take, but more in what's going to happen when you don't pay this bill and everything, falls to the wayside. So, there's a difference in energy. Now, clarifying this is I'm getting that help is on the way. I'm getting that you're going to be helped. I feel that some of you really need to be helped. I think some of you are going through a very hard time. And there's help there for you. And I can't stress strongly enough to meditate and to connect with the higher realm. That will raise you need to raise your vibration. We all need to raise our vibration. So this goes for all of us, actually. This could be a general reading for everybody. It really could. So it's really important. Look, I just want to say that this is the service card, right? So somebody could come in and help you and save you, but your focus should be on helping others. And I don't mean just, it's not just about giving money. It's not about that. Maybe you don't have money. But it is about putting somebody else first before you. It's like, it can be smiling at someone going down the street. It can be listening to somebody's problems when you really don't want to, but just being there for someone. It's knocking on a neighbor's door and asking them, if they're old, if they want company, if you want to, if they want a cup of tea or whatever it is. It's important to be of service because I really think a lot of you help is on the way. And you have the Hanged Man here. And this is about seeing your situation from a different perspective, because right here you're totally blind. You don't want to see. It's almost like you're refusing to look. So the Hanging Man, it can mean patience too, right? It can mean patience, but he's hanging from the tree of life, right? And I think he's sacrificing himself, but he's got a halo around his head. So he's coming from a higher perspective, and he's in the colors of the saints. These are the saints' colors. So he's like sacrificed himself for others, and he's looking at things differently. He's like in a yoga pose, he's very content, hanging from the tree of life and seeing things from another perspective. This is important for you to do, but it can also mean patience. Just hang in there, literally hang in there. And clarifying it, you've got the Judgment card. And the Judgment card is Pluto, right? And we do have Pluto active this week. Venus conjunct Pluto, Venus conjunct Saturn, Pluto and Saturn. Things are going to come up, and things are going to come up for a lot of us. Things that we have to look at, that we haven't wanted to look at. And now we're going to have to look at it. Plus, with this full moon, that's going to show things. And this can also be a calling to your life purpose. It's time to kind of look at how you can give back to society. How can you be of service to the society at large? What can you do for the higher good of everyone, not just you, everyone? This is a question that we will perhaps be inspired to ask ourselves, particularly with Jupiter. What's Jupiter doing now on Sunday? Yes, Jupiter trine Uranus. This is it's very that energy. Plus the whole Neptune T-square. I mean, it's all very inspiring, and it's also very action oriented towards a higher calling. This is like, look, it's like a bugle. You're being called, come up, things are coming up. You need to address this. We need to help humanity. We're actually in not a major crisis, we're in many crises. Things are happening around the globe that's, disturbing and distressing, and things that we have to address. And we're going to feel that. Uranus is very kind of rebellious. It's very, getting out there and fighting for what we know is right, the right thing, what's good for humanity. Enough of all this, trickling down and just the 1% getting everything and everybody else not getting a piece of the pie. I think we're moving into a more equal kind of existence. Equality, darling. Aries, thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, family, neighbors, co-workers, social media, comment. If you've been around, I answer every comment and I welcome feedback. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. Mwah! I love you all, and I'll see you next week.